I was in Colorado, and I was at this retreat center. I was at a retreat center in Colorado, and I asked them, hey, who is the best martial arts teacher in New York City? Because that's where I was living. And they said Sifu Chi Gong. But the only way that you can find him is you go on this specific street and you look for the blue door. And there's no address, there's no phone number, there was no emails or internet in those days. So when I got back to the city, I went down to Chinatown and I found the blue door and opened the big heavy metal blue door, and I walked up the stairs, and I'm standing at the top of the stairs, and there's a door unmarked, and I hear this cling, cling, cling. I was like, what is that? So I knock on the door, and it takes a little while, and this Asian fellow comes to the door. I go, I want to take Xingyi classes. He goes, oh, come back Thursday night. And I look, and there's some guys sitting around a table, and they're throwing dice into a bowl. And I guess they were gambling. So I came back on Thursday night for the class. And because it was like 6 o'clock class. And I think there were 2 other girls in the school, and maybe a handful of white people, but everybody was Chinese and were very, very serious about studying. And Sifu started to give a lecture. I could barely understand what he was saying, but he was drawing diagrams, and people were getting up, and he was demonstrating. And to be honest, when I walked into that school, I knew I was there for life. I walked around and looked at every detail of that studio because I knew that I was going to be there, and this was going to be the first time that I got to see anything and everything for the first time. So I took my time and looked at every detail, every windowsill, every picture, and I took classes there every night that was available. He only taught a couple days a week, but we would, work out and practice every night, 7 days a week after that day. And so Sifu really taught the old school way. He would teach you one move, and you would do that move for a month. And I could not tell you how simple that first move was. You have to realize I was a dancer. I knew how to move my body, but I trusted in the process. I knew it was the traditional Taoist way to learn, chop wood, carry water. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be dedicated. And so I did the one move and I did it over and over again. And that's all I got to do. I would sit and drink tea and watch everybody else and get up and do my one move. And then he taught me another move. And he didn't teach me another move until he thought I was ready. And you couldn't ask. You just did your move, and when he was ready, he would teach you a new move. And I soon got to learn the 5 basic exercises of Xingyi. And Sifu also taught Bagua. It's based on the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching. Also now we know the I Ching is related to the gene keys, which is an exciting new perspective on the I Ching and our genetic coding. And so I delved deep into that. I would get up in the morning and I would go to dance school. I would take dance school for 4 hours, and then I'd walk down to Chinatown through the Bowery and start practicing Xingyi. I would stay at the studio for 4 or 5 hours in the evening. And I soon learned the 5-element form, which is based on the 5-element theory, which you may have heard of. It's a 5-element theory that's used in acupuncture. That's the way it became more popularized in the West. And it also incorporates 12 animals. The 12 animal form is another movement sequence like the 5-element form. And then I began to learn Bagua. And Bagua is the 8 palms. And that's a series of movements that are the 8 palms of Bagua. So, good stuff.